Welcome back to FTB Infinity Evolved Expert Mode. Thank you for your comments on the last episode explaining that the hardware issue, or well, the interference issue is still there, only a little bit, but towards the end of the episode, about 20 minutes in. Sorry for all of you experiencing this. So I've been madly pulling out cables all over the place, trying to reduce any sort of interference I can get. I don't think it's the microphone at this point because I'm listening to the microphone directly as I'm actually speaking. The hardware has a monitor out, if you like, for that, so I can hear myself as I'm actually talking, which is, you know, that pretty much eliminates the microphone. Thankfully, that is the most expensive bit. There's something like over £200, $300 or so for a decent microphone. So thankfully, I don't have to get one of those or a warranty replacement. However, I'm leaning towards it maybe being a software issue at the moment, so I've just rerouted some cables just to try and eliminate it from being any kind of power line interference or anything like that. And if we still get it, again, apologies, but at that point I think I'm going to have to start recording all the audio independently, or try to record it independently as well as OBS, so that I at least have a decent clean source if I need to actually edit the two back together, which is a bit annoying, but you know, I can cope. So I'll maybe use Audacity for something like that. If you've got any recommendations, feel free to let me know, but we'll see on that front how we get through. The main difficulty there is going to be trying to record the game audio as well as the microphone audio. So yeah, I'm not quite too sure about that one yet, although it doesn't seem like the game audio is getting corrupted when that's being recorded, just the voice, which is a little bit annoying. But yeah, I continue to replace stuff. I've replaced the cable anyway between the microphone, well, between the preamp and the recording software, hardware, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, this episode, I did want to carry on. I've crafted another one of those Resonant machine frames. I think my entire power system is recovering from this because the reactor is now hooked up directly to the rest of the power system. If we have a look in here, this MV wire connector is hooked up to this Resonant energy cell. And you can see it's 0 at the moment. That's because the entire system is just pulling on it. Oh, no, in fact, that's because the reactor's off. Derp. It was pulling on it. Oh, just 1 second. Let's just change this over. I knew these would get done soon, so there's another set of fuel cells. Let's get those out. Where's the others? Ah, there we go. Ah, there he goes. So this should start building up once the rest of the system is full. And it's not full because, yeah, I did more crafting. Let's go and have a look, shall we? So the Resonant machine frame was taking far too long, so I decided to give it a bit of a leap, bit of a push by putting in more lasers. So we now got something like, I don't know, 20 lasers or something. Again, all able to make the Resonant machine frame, which is in here when I put the actual items. And it reaches all of them, which is fine. So that's that. I did show you that last episode. I've upgraded that. So right now, a lot of the buffers will be filling back up after that enormous Resonant crafting session. So, not ready yet. Really daytime. So what I thought I'd do with that is actually create ender chests. Finally, ender chests. So if we have a look in here, here's the recipe. I've got everything hooked up and ready, so you don't have to watch me crafting a lot of this stuff. And here we have ender tank frame recipe. Now what I may well do actually as well, just on the audio side of things, I may well just turn the audio a little bit down. I should make sure it's not hitting max, and thereby it isn't causing any kind of interference that way. We'll see. I'm also recording this a little bit on a lower resolution than I normally do. What I normally do is can record on 1440p, and it automatically downsamples on the fly to 1080p. So I've reduced that again just to see if that helps. I made 2 ender pouches. They are very simple recipes. They aren't the expensive bit. Helps if I get the recipe. There we go. What? Oh, yes. Fine. There we go. Hover over the right thing. 3 pieces of leather, ender pearl wool, and 4 place powder. But they don't really do anything on their own. They're meant to go with ender chests. We need to make the 8 ender tank frames, and that's another machine frame Resonant gone. And then from that, we can then make the ender chests themselves, which are something like, something like this. 4 crushed obsidian in the corner, not regular obsidian. I think that is an actual change. And an ender tank frame. And I'm going to be making more than one of these, but for the start, the first thing I'm going to do, absolute first thing, is replace this. Oh, you're gone. And there's an ender tank. Now, if I grab my ender pouch, see, it's already linked because the two are both set to white, white, white. If they aren't, you can just shift right click on a chest. And but this is an input to my system. So if I'm out mining, not that I need to mine anymore, but if I need to actually get rid of all my inventory or anything back into the system, I can do this from wherever I am. Once I find where I left the remote orderer, if it isn't in here, oh yes it is, yes it still is. What I can do is, and I did mention this right at the start though, I can then order stuff that I need, no matter where I am. So let's say I wanted, give me a stack of wood. Yes, thanks, I don't want to pop up anymore. And if I replace this with an ender tank, why am I keep saying ender tank? It's not a tank, it's a chest. The ender chest. Then I can turn around and get the inventory from wherever I am. So let's just grab 4 more of them and then put those on the actual I'm going to need chests. Let's get 3 of those, and I'm going to need 24 iron plates, which will take a while, but not as much anymore, because between the episodes I've also, not in that one, I've started adding overclocker upgrades all over the place. Consumes a lot more power, but our nuclear reactor's powered up now, so we don't have any further issues with that kind of thing. So in here I've got 10 overclocker upgrades, and there they go. And you can see what's happening to the power. Now that's coming from the MFE. So the maximum this can output is 512 EU per tick. And this, because it's got 10 overclock grades, is 10,000% power increase. Yeah. So it's quite a lot, but it does let me get things a lot faster. Now, pretty much for most IC2 crafting, obviously that's only IC2, I now get things a great deal faster. So here you can see what the recipe is. We're going to do that for 3 iron chests. I do need some wool, which is fine. I just need 1 of those. And let's just put this back in here so that I can get that recipe going again. I may come back to... should I do that now? Oh, it needs more. Okay, so we need ender. Yeah, we're going to need 4 of those and some blaze powder. The only serious part of it really is these indium nuggets that you have to craft. They are 1/9 of a normal indium, or an indium ingot, just like anything else there. So just bear that in mind when that actually when that crops up for you. But it shouldn't be all that serious at this point. You should be able to make indium. There we go. One correction I do want to make. That is the recipe, isn't it? I got them the wrong way around again. I don't make them the wrong way around. Oh, aha. Yeah, I don't need to do that anymore. That was the machine frame recipe. So you only need those indium nuggets for 8 ender tank frames. So that's more convenient. I'm much happier now. Let's just get rid of all of you. I'll put you in the middle, at the bottom, and then 3 of those. And we just put this into the crushing machine. Still relevant, this thing, the rock crusher. So, I think in the near future I'm going to be replacing this blast furnace. I think I want to go to the immersive engineering version, which is much nicer. One of the commenters did mention it, and to be honest, for making steel, that thing is early game, and we're going to be replacing a lot of things. I should note, however, we are on Infinity Evolved Expert Mode version 2.3 now, and 2.3 has disabled weeds for agricraft. Yes. No more weeds, which means I can just leave things and not have to tend them, which is amazing. yeah, so you can just line everything up and then see how things go from there. There we go. Got crushed obsidian, and yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, and another ender chest. Ah, so enjoying this. So if we get some ink, I've probably got quite a bit of that. 1, 2, 3. Scrap those. Yeah. And then we can just drop this on the ground for a second. Grab our ink, clear it as normal. Grab our ender pouch. Shift right click, and we get a black linked one. So if I go here, you see it opens. All great. So if I then do this and this, then I should be able to just put it back down like this. And let's test this out. Let's put my chisel away. So right now I don't have anything in that chest, and don't have anything in that chest. For my next magic trick, just give me another stack of coal, let's say. And let's see. Do we get everything? Hopefully those logistics pipes still serve to that ender pouch, ender chest even. Wow. I've been so long without ender chests I can no longer say the word. There we go, we get coal. So now where we are, we can do things like torches and, you know, whatever we actually want to actually do. And just to put it away again, we can put it back into the system, which is great, and it can't find space for those because my default route is full. Right, I've got to find more space. Or upgrade that. In fact, that's a diamond chest, I can't upgrade it. Okay, so that's ender chests sorted, and there is another type of ender inventory. That's the ender tank. I'm hoping that it uses the same. Yep, it does. Same ingredient ender tank frame, 4 crusted obsidian, and this time cauldrons, which are just iron plates again. So no real issue there. And then we can start hooking up liquids around the base and stuff like that. However, the more you use them, the more this supply of ender tank frames will dwindle. Let's just see. Let's grab that for a second. And what else are these used for? Yeah. Okay, so lots of ender tanks and ender chests. And that's it. Okay, so this is just 6 more of whatever I want there. And since this will input into our metal system, I don't have to worry about anything there. One thing I did want to point out, and that's just something that... oh. I will take off and fly in my orange jumpsuit. Yeah. Give me my stuff back, please. Give it back. Give it back. Oh, you need to be with an empty hand. There we go. So one thing I did want to mention about the automatic mining, it's working. It's working like a treat. It really is. I'm getting lots and lots. In fact, so much so that the Resonant crafting just jammed my ore processing system. I think it's still going now, trying to catch up. Yeah, there it is. It's like so many stacks of iron and stuff like that. That's really pretty much anything we want to craft now is fine. Be aware that when you're crafting these overclocker upgrades, it's going to use an awful lot of tin mainly. The copper as well, but tin there's an awful lot of. And if I just sort by size at the moment, that's built back up. I've got it up to 490 now, but I had that before I started crafting. So if you're going to redo all your base like I just did, you might want to think about, yeah, just making sure you have about 500 tin before you start, because the number of machines that you have will use up an awful lot of that, mainly on tin plates. You use stacks and stacks of tin plates, so just keep that one in mind. But as you can see, I've got quite a lot of materials now, at least for this stage in the game, before we end up with like 10,000s of these later, and we can get that going. So, well, hopefully there's not been any interference in this first section. We'll see once I listen back to it, as I'll try and go through, and I'll see if I can eliminate it. Alright, let's move on. What we're going to do next. One more thing before I move on, and that is this. It's rather obvious, but you also want to make sure that this chest is also an ender chest. So all of your ores will go straight into your system. And this is off at the moment because it ran out of power. One quick thing here is that I've changed this to Silk Touch True. You may wonder why. That uses a lot more power to use Silk Touch True, by the way. But what it does get us is if we look at redstone ore, I think if we look at pulverizer, it gets us 25% chance of, in addition to 6 redstone, getting cinnabar. And again, cinnabar is used with lead to get silver, but more importantly, far more importantly, where is it? It's the shiny recipe. So with ferrous ore, which isn't being automatically processed at the moment on purpose, into getting 100% shiny. And shiny is needed for indium, and you will want lots and lots of indium in your system. So just keep that in mind. Okay. And with a newly refilled MFE, it's all running again, and hopefully it should be outputting ores into our system, which is kind of cool. Couple of quick things. This is, I know it's been a talky episode so far. I don't like to do this too much. I'd rather show lots of stuff happening, but occasionally you want talky episodes. I wonder how my bees are doing. Still not going to explain this. Those who are explaining, those who are seeing this, I'm just going to keep on reading these. Those who have used bees before, yeah, you probably know what I'm doing, but don't worry. We will come on to a bee episode, just not yet. I just don't want to get a little bit further on yet with those. Yes, I've turned down the volume a little bit as well on the microphone, hopefully not too much, but just to make sure it isn't going to redline at all, and therefore, you know, cause any issues with OBS going a bit weird. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. I did want to make a couple of tools this episode. I have already made one of them, and that is here, the electric tree tap. And you can see in here, I can just recharge it by dropping it in an MFE, and it doesn't really have any durability, and it doesn't really have any different modes that you can actually deal with. It's just a straightforward tree tap, except it's electric based and recharge. I should also probably create an electric wrench. Yes, I can get away with using a dolly, but yeah. Let's see, is it called an electric wrench, or is it one of the others? Electric hoe, electric wrench, yeah. Just that I've got one more than anything else, and that's a regular wrench with small power units, which is just some bronze, 5, 6 of, and some of these. So I think I may have some of that left over. Let's see, do we have any RE batteries left over? Yeah, if it'll give me it, it will. Cool. There's the RE battery, and what was the other ingredients? Electric wrench, power units, circuit motor, some iron and copper. Okay, so circuits. Not all of these are particularly optimized yet, but you know, I wish you'd be able to get them a lot quicker than we used to anyway. Copper cable, 2 of. Things like this should be relatively quick. And iron item casing, again 2 of. And we'll see how quick that actually comes through for us to make the small power units. While I'm looking at that, let's go and have a look at the rest of the base I'm going to expand outwards into. There is going to be another Reactor episode coming soon. I am going to be looking at building a new one back here. So same room layout as the first one. This one's going to be more expansive reactor or breeder reactor. I'm not quite sure because the IC2 has changed somewhat in recent times. There used to be a way of doing breeder reactors. I think that's changed now on experimental. So I'm not sure which version is being used by FTB Infinity. So I'll have to check out the designs there and let you know. So that is coming up. And has this all been finished yet? Those two certainly have. We've got the motor. We've got the iron item casing and electronic circuits. So that's a small power unit. And just give me some bronze, please. This is where the system does tend to get broken, and I don't know why. If I request 6 bronze, is it actually going to craft the bronze for me? I wonder. I think it should do, but can I remember which one I've put this in? Where are you, my crescent hammer? Yeah, there should be some copper and tin going in here. But we don't always get it. And I don't have any clue why in this case, because that looks hooked up correctly. It's got power. Let's see if the bronze has been delivered. If you see anything obvious on this, by the way, as to why, do let me know. But I don't seem to get bronze all that much. Nope, it just decides, I don't care, you're not having bronze. And then, so I suppose we can do it manually. 30. And give me 10 tin. And I gotta hook that up manually. I'll do it off camera. And derp, it's because I didn't set input and outputs. Yes, okay. And there comes, yeah, more copper and tin that I actually ordered. Logistics Pipes was happily trying to say, yeah, I'm trying to make bronze. I just can't make bronze. Okay. So do that in mind. You still do need to specify an input and an output, even if you don't actually use them. Which is annoying, I suppose, but yeah, it kind of works. So we've got bronze. Yeah, I know, I derp. So if we get a fresh wrench, we should now be able to assemble everything for the electric wrench and just assemble that. So let's get it going. So, small power unit, please. Oh, I already created it. Fine. And just craft the two together. And we have the electric wrench, which has a couple of modes. Let me just charge this up and I'll show them to you. Yeah, so it's in normal mode at the moment. So that should mean if I were to, oh, it's not a slided thing, but if I shift right click, is it shift right click? Is the mode switch key changed? It must have changed. Options. Where are you? Controls. IC2. Mode switch key is M, which is bound with absolutely everything else. Oh, of course it is. Yes, so you rebind that and you can switch this to lossless mode. I will do that once I figure out which key I actually want that for. And then you can then pick things up just like a dolly, except you don't run around slowly. And if you're transporting more than one machine, instead of creating more than one dolly, you have an electric wrench going, which means I can now throw that normal wrench away. I'll just put it in here for now. Not there. Throw it in here for now. And we'll go back to that later. So, yeah, 2/3 of the way through the episode. It has been a very talky. I'm sorry about that, but I did want to get through a lot of updates I've done off camera. Explain about the audio stuff that I'm still working on. Do let me know if you want any specific things to be explained, particularly with the expansion of the base. We're going to be going back to, again, Thorncraft fairly soon now that we've got, you know, the automatic ore processing system working. I'm tempted to massively expand this room into kind of factory area. I don't so much like that. That needs to be moved fairly urgently. And it's not very fast either. And immersive engineering has a few things that we can do to change that. I think I've got the book somewhere. Hang on. Let's grab the book. There it is. Yes, I got an RTFM achievement. Cool. Let's see, which machine is it that I'm looking for? No, it's not the simple machines, it's the more the heavy machinery. Crush is one of the first parts, and that is, you know, that's a good indication of the actual size of it. It's a multi-block, and that, I think, is the first step that I'm going to do. I'm going to build that, and then, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to build that first. Maybe not this episode, but I'm going to put that in this area, and because it's such a big multi-block, and there's going to be more of those from immersive engineering, and we're going to be hooking things up with conveyor belts and stuff like that. I may need a cow farm to get going. So I may well just push this wall back quite a lot. So that'll let me have this on the side of the room that's fairly unobtrusive. And then, you know, off to our nuclear area that way. And then maybe build upwards, but the farms are right above us. Right up there is where the tree farm is upstairs. So I have to either move the tree farm or just keep this underground. I haven't decided yet, but I'm going to do that next episode or between. Well, I'm not going to actually craft it out there, mine it out in the on camera, but I'll do it between the episodes, and we'll see how big this room gets. And then I'll have to look at underfloor powering. I've got a power line over here coming in for these lasers. You can just see it in the corner. That comes from the nuclear center. And similarly, I may need something under here. I've obviously got the MV from upstairs, so I guess I could hook everything up. Yeah, it's going to take some time, but I'll sort this out next episode. Finally, this episode, I'm going to introduce you to automating indium. I know that sounds like a massive topic for the last 5 minutes of an episode when I've been talking all episode, and I'm sorry. But I did want to actually introduce a new type of pipe to you as well, so that's a kind of useful thing. Supplier Logistics pipe. It will help, I think, with some of these actual auto-crafting tables, automate them in some other ways. Let me explain the point of it first. You attach it to an inventory, it doesn't matter what the inventory is. And again, like normal, you right-click. I'm going to set this to bulk 100. I'll come back to that in a second. And you tell it what to keep stocked. So in this case, I'm going to tell it to keep stocked that. 2 tin dust, 1 silver dust, 1 pulverized shining metal. I will need to add recipes for those to the rest of this. I'll need to put a macerator in here somewhere. Give it some overclocker upgrades. And then what's going to happen is this pipe will make sure that this inventory at the bottom will always have those things in it. It will always have 2 tin dust, 1 silver dust, and 1 pulverized shining metal. Now, if I look at the crafting grid here for a second, crafting grid, we're going to put that exact thing in. We're going to put this recipe. And you'll probably notice what's missing is the bucket of indium. What's it called? Resonant and ender. Yeah. So that I'll need to automate. And again, I'll probably show it to you next episode. It's just going to involve a pair of magma crucibles like we have upstairs and the thing that loads it into containers. I'll need to basically have a bucket to be able to be reused like that and just be able to serve no, that's not it. Resonant energy bucket. Yeah, so I'll need to be able to serve one of those to this by normal crafting logistics pipe saying, hey, just provide that to this, pop it in there, and you will get indium blend back out. You'll get 4. Why? Because everything else is being taken care of by the supplier logistics pipe. Now just quickly onto the modes. These do confuse people. So I'm seeing if I get this right, but let's just go back to the start. So bulk 50 is whereby when half of the stuff in here has been used, it'll fill it back up. In this case, we're not going to need that. Bulk 100, same thing, except now when 100% is been used up. We could use that, that's fine. Infinite will just fill the inventory. Partial, as soon as it goes below this amount, I believe it'll start trying to fill it back up and full. Again, similar to 100%. It's similar kind of thing. So I'm just going to do it to bulk 100. I could put it on full as well. Yeah, because what's going to happen is the stuff in the inventory is going to be used up instantaneously when a bucket gets dropped in there. So we don't have to do anything special with that. We can just leave it as it is and go from there. So, okay. So, yeah. I do need to actually add in a pulverizer and a magma crucible and something else. Maybe I'll just do it. Yeah, maybe I'll just do it for the end of this episode. That'd be kind of cool, just to finish off with automated indium. The real limit's, of course, going to be the ender pearls, and because the ender pearl farm isn't automatic yet, ender pearl farm isn't automatic yet, I can't really just say, hey, give me 50 indium ingots, that'll be amazing, thanks. No, I can't do that. So yeah, I will probably do this next episode now, just so that you don't keep having to watch. But what we could do in here is have an automated activator, or whatever they're called, to use that Horn of the Wild that I previously showed you how to clear massive areas of plants. And we can then automate indium to automate Botania to replant these using a hopper hock. Hopper hock is why do you keep giving me that recipe? Is straightforward. Redstone root is straightforward. Rune of air I may already have. And these are not even mana petals, so that should be straightforward. What a hopper will do is you can put it next to a chest with an item frame on it, an item frame on it, and the item frame will tell it what to pick up. So in this case, you tell it to, you can tell it to pick up the ender pearls, you can tell it to pick up the ender seeds, and get them replanted by something else. So there's another flower, I think, that will replant them. So yeah, that's a way to do automated ender pearls, and that's something I will have to set up soon, just to make sure I can continue to supply ender pearls, which I'm down to 6 for automated indium. So I think I'll cover automated indium at the start of the next episode, and we'll get things rolling, shall we? All right, this is the end of the episode. I know it's been a talky one. I'll avoid talking too much like this in future episodes, and get on with some more automation stuff, I think, which you all kind of like, I assume. So thanks very much for the episode. Thumbs up if you liked it. Thumbs down if you didn't. Hopefully there's no actual interference issues this episode. If so, let me know, as normal, in the comments, as well as any other thing that you want to actually explain or ask about in the comments, or, you know, give me future suggestions. More than welcome. Otherwise, subscribe if you want to see this episode, follow me on Twitter at GreyDuster, and we'll see you next episode with some automation and some Britannia, because, hey, why not? Thanks for watching.